and welcome to Ducks Know Sports. This week, I'm previewing Week 10 of the CFL season. Of course, Week 10, you know what that means? Labor Day. And of course, the good old saying in the CFL, the CFL season doesn't really begin until Labor Day. First match of the week as the BC Lions travel down to Montreal to take on the Alouettes. Should be an interesting one. In my opinion, what could be a Grey Cup preview, as both these teams right now sit number one in the West and the East. So playing balls out right now, and we'll start with the Lions here. Wow, what can you already say about this defense? I mean, hasn't given up a touchdown, and I think now 13 straight quarters. That's being a dominant defense. I mean, and on offense, they're still clicking with Lulay and all his great weapons. You know, overall, this is the best form, in my opinion, the best team in the CFL. This is, in my opinion, could be one of the greatest teams ever to play in the CFL. And that sounds crazy, but the way they're playing on defense and the way they're playing on offense right now, they're clicking on everything. And, of course, they got a solid special teams. Just click on everything. BC Lions just click on everything right now. And honestly, excuse me, I do not see one team in this league that can go head-to-head with the BC Lions. That's how good they're playing right now. And I really believe this will be a real test for the BC Lions because they're playing a team in the Montreal Alouettes who were playing pretty well themselves. You know, and Montreal Alouettes, they just get a little better every week. You know, their defense start of the season wasn't so good. And every week gets a little, they tighten up a little bit more. And they get a little bit better every game. And on offense, what can you say about Calvillo? One of the best QBs to ever play in the CFL. Will go certainly in the Hall of Fame. And possibly the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's a discussion for another time, though. But Montreal Alouettes are playing really well. You know, I doubted them early in the season. I thought they were done and old. I'm clearly an idiot, and I was clearly wrong. Montreal Alouettes are clicking, as always. But I just think Montreal's playing well. But I just think BC is just clicking too great right now. Two great teams, but I just think the BC Lions are just a little bit better. And I believe the BC Lions going to Montreal and punch the Alouettes in the mouth and come away with a victory. And I think they win this. I think they win this game by 2 scores. And our next matchup, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with new coach Tim Burke travel down to Saskatchewan to take on the Melonheads and the Rough Riders and Rider Nation. Start with Winnipeg. You know, of course, there was some controversy last week in Winnipeg as La Police is out. You know, head coach, who I thought did a pretty good job with the Blue Bombers over the last couple of years, got fired after their loss last week. And in comes defensive coordinator Tim Burke. Interesting move. I thought it was the right choice. I like La Police, not saying he wasn't a great coach. I thought he was. But it was pretty clear watching this team over weeks and weeks, and he just couldn't control them. I mean, these players were going off the mouth on Twitter. You know, they just made stupid mistake after stupid mistake on the field, and something had to be done. La Police is a great coach. Will find another job somewhere else, but something had to be done. It's clear he just lost control of the room, and I thought it was a great move. You know, Tim Burke, you know, of course, is a respected guy around the league. We'll see how this works. You know, he's been up for head coaching jobs in the past, hasn't got them, so he finally has his chance. So we'll see what he does with the chance. You know, there's been guys in the past like Richie Hall comes to mind, or Greg Marshall comes to mind, who respected guys around the league, got their chance, and fell flat on their face. We'll see, but Tim Burke has a lot of work to do because this team is a mess. Of course, talking about the Blue Bombers are a mess right now. I mean, offense, they can't score. Defense isn't as good as they were last year, and for a team still in striking distance, still has a chance to be a good team. It still has a chance to go to the playoffs, so it will be interesting if he can turn this team around. I have my doubts, but this team has the making to be a good team. I mean, they're still core of the defense is still there from last year. So they should still be a good defense, you know. And offense, they got to get Buck Pierce back. It's pretty clear. I'm not the biggest Buck Pierce fan, but it's pretty clear Joey Elliott or Alex Brink just can't get the job done. That's what it comes down to. They just can't move the ball enough. And when Buck Pierce is in there, when Uncle Buck is in there, he moves the ball. So I think if he can come back maybe in a few weeks, I think maybe Winnipeg has a chance to be good. but Winnipeg has to start putting some wins together, and they better start this week because they're playing a team who's hit at all-time low. I mean, after starting the year 3-0, have now lost 5 straight games, and excuse me, and they're not looking good right now. I mean, Durant is looking worse and worse every week. You know, Sheets, after that good start of the year, hasn't really performed since. You know, receiving core is banged up. And on defense, still, I'll give them credit. They're still a solid defense. They're still in games. It's not like the world is colliding. It's not like the worst team in the league in Saskatchewan, but, you know, they have to start winning some games. That's why this game is so crucial for both teams. And I just think, at home, Saskatchewan, with all those crazy fans against our rival, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I just believe with both teams need this, home field advantage is going to be critical in this game. And I believe the Saskatchewan Roughriders finally, after 5 weeks, come out with a win and beat the Blue Bombers by a field goal late. All right, now we move into the Labor Day games, so it should be good. Of course, we'll start with the Battle of Ontario first, as the Toronto Argonauts travel to the Hammer to take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And big question for both these teams, like, who's this bigger for? Because right now, both these teams have hit lows, and both teams need this win. We'll start with Hamilton. You know, 3 straight losses, not the end of the world. You know, they haven't played great, but they haven't played awful. You know, really should have won that game last week if it wasn't for some coaching by Cortez. You know, not challenging that 30-yard catch by Green. You know, really should challenge that, didn't. So questionable coaching on Tiger Cat side. And in offense, you know, they did play good the 2 weeks prior, but last week they really got back in their game, really playing well. But it comes down to this team, man. This defense just sucks. They can't stop anyone, man. It's pretty clear that me and 12 of my friends could not stop, could get past this defense because they suck that hard. And I just believe Hamilton, if they're going to the Grey Cup, which I think they have all the pieces to go to the Grey Cup, their defense has to tighten up. And it's not like they have an awful defense. They have some really good players like Jamal Johnson, Tinsdale. You know, they got a few good players up front I like, but it's not all coming together. And there's just a mess right now. They really got that tighten up because they're just looking awful right now. If they don't get this tighten up, it's gonna be a sad story because Hamilton Tiger Cats, this is their Achilles heel right now. They can't stop anyone. And they're playing a guy in this week in Ricky Ray, who is a very good QB, going to the Hall of Fame. One of the greatest ever played in the CFL, Ricky Ray. And for an offense who's, the Toronto Argonauts offense not great, but they're not awful. No, they're not awful, but they're not great, but they're not awful. And I really like this Toronto Argonaut team. I just believe that they're going in the right direction. Every week they're like the Alouettes. Every week they just get a little better. You know, Chad Owens has got back to form. He's a beast. You know, they're showing they don't need Boyd because they got Cackett, a very good running back. And I just believe the Toronto Argonauts, they're moving the ball more and more lately, and their defense is just outstanding. I mean, Chris Jones, like I'm saying for weeks, Chris Jones knows how to coach a defense, and I just believe the Toronto Argonauts team, I think it's going to happen this week. I think Toronto Argonauts are going to come into Hamilton and punch the Tiger Cats in the mouth. And I think they come away with this victory. I think a tight game comes down to a late field goal, but I think Toronto Argonauts are just playing a little bit better than Hamilton this year, and I just believe the Toronto Argonauts beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Hammer on Labor Day. In our last matchup, the Edmonton Eskimos travel into Calgary to take on the Stampeders. Of course, the Battle of Alberta. Of course, the other Labor Day matchup. So the Eskimos here, you know, they might have a little quarterback controversy on their hands here because when Giles went down last week, they sent in Kerry Joseph. Yeah, remember him? Kerry Joseph. And he played pretty damn well. You know, moved the ball against a tough Argos defense. Really played well. Got first downs. Looked really comfortable in that offense. And if you're Steven Giles, you better be starting to heat right now. Because he has not had a good season. He's not performed the way they thought he would perform. And Kerry Joseph in one start or one game has basically overtaken him. Like in my opinion, like he looked great. Who knows? Can Kerry Joseph keep it up? I don't know about that. But Steven Giles, if he plays this week, better be ready to play, because if he struggles a little at halftime, say they're losing halftime by a few scores, I wouldn't be shocked in the least if they go to Kerry Joseph. That's how good he played last week. But I really like this Eskimo team. They got back last week to playing great defense, and that's the identity of this team. Great defense. I mean, this is just the best defense in the league. That's how they're going to win games, is on defense and just running the football. That's how you're going to win games with the Edmonton Eskimos. And they're playing a team in a Calgary Stampeder team who I can't figure out. I give up. I don't know. Are they good or bad? Make up your damn mind. Because some weeks they look great. Some weeks like they look like they can go to the Grey Cup. In other weeks, they look like they won't even make the playoffs. But it's pretty clear with this team, like the Eskimos, they're going to win games by running the football. By Cornish is a really good player. Maybe arguably the best running back in the league. I would say so. He's playing that good right now. Had over 100 yards again last week. I really like Cornish, and that's the way they're going to win games. Because they're not going to win games by Glenn. It's pretty clear Kevin Glenn's done. But Kevin Glenn's getting the job done right now. You know, he's getting the job done by just handing it off. And I just think if Cornish can run this way for the rest of the season, I think the St. Peters might have a shot at the Grey Cup. Can they beat the BC Lions? That's going to be a tough order. But if he's playing the way he does, they do have a shot to beat the BC Lions. But I think it won't matter this week, because I think Edmonton Eskimos with that defense, they're going to pack that defense on the road, and I think Steven Giles plays a really good game because they get to feel the heat. And I believe the Edmonton Eskimos go into Calgary on Labor Day and beat the Stampeders. All right, that's it for this edition of Ducks Nose Sports, Labor Day edition of the CFL. Should be good. I always love Labor Day. It's always one of my favorite weekends for the CFL, because this what really jumpstarts the season. I mean, this is when we start talking about playoffs, you know, who's the best team in the league, best defense. This is when it all starts. The unofficial start right now, because it's going to be great. We'll have some great matchups this week, and I can't wait, because we're going to see some great games this week. And giddy up. It's the fall, baby. It's the fall. The NFL's here. We got college football. We got the CFL. We got baseball playoffs coming soon. Oh, baby, I love the fall. I love the fall. But till next time, I'm Aaron Duxbury saying, I'm Ducks, and I love the fall, and I know sports. Kind of.